this week, I talked about how scientists have recently discovered that the melting of our icy bits up there in the Arctic is not only just threatening our coasts, but it's also warping the planet. And now comes this bad news. According to a new report published in Nature Climate Change, the melting Arctic could also cause the spread of nuclear waste. Yeah, that's right. As the ice melts, it could release radioactive waste from Cold War nuclear subs and reactors. That's because the Soviet Union conducted 130 nuclear weapons tests up there in their neck of the Arctic between 1955 and 1990. According to the BBC, the tests used 224 separate explosive devices, which released about 265 megatons of nuclear energy. More than 100 decommissioned nuclear subs were also sunk into the seas up there. Now, the Russians have since tried to clean up that mess, but alas, the area has tested highly for radioactive cesium and plutonium. They've been found between undersea sediment, vegetation, and ice sheets. And the more things melt up there, the more likely that radioactive waste will be released. But before you curse the Ruskies, you should know they weren't the only ones committing nuclear hijinks around our icy bits. Nope, the US's Camp Century was a nuclear-powered under-ice research facility up in Greenland. It also produced a good amount of nuclear waste. The facility was decommissioned in 1967, but the waste was left there. Also in 1968, we crashed a B-52 bomber into Greenland that was carrying nuclear weapons. That also dispersed massive amounts of plutonium into the icy bits of Greenland. So yeah, both sides of that old Cold War left a bunch of radioactive waste up there in our icy bits. And the more those bits melt, the more likely it is that waste will be unlocked and free to screw up the planet in ways we have yet to discover. Which is just another thing for us to worry about in regard to our melting icy bits. You get the picture. The melting of our icy bits is very bad news for humans. So what can we do? Well, we can certainly stop shoveling carbon dioxide up into the atmosphere in giant droves like we are. But the truth is, those bits are gonna melt anyway, no matter what we do. Ice ages come and go with all sorts of consequences we have yet to imagine, no matter what we humans have to say about it. Our best option is to try to get off this rock and become a space-faring species. Which, funny enough, messing around with all those nuclear weapons just might help us do. Nuclear propulsion, folks. Google it.
Okay, Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations you Akim out there that push this word in truth and in sincerity. You have this devil, the so-called white man, that has been polluting the earth since he came into power during the time of the late 1300s to the early 1400s up until now. This devil has been greatly polluting the earth. Now you have, in the age of technology, this devil, by the way of chemtrails, fluoridation in the water, that keeps the people dumbed down. That's why the people in America is not bucking up like the people across seas in Europe. They're not bucking up because they dumbed down through fluoride. One of Esau's lab-created pestilence that he unleashed onto the people. Now, you have deforestation. Esau destroying the earth through deforestation. You have cars that has been smashed up, and what they do, they dump into the ocean, polluting the ocean. That's why you got these whales and these dolphins and these other fish beaching themselves, man. That's why you got a lot of, when you try to fish, you got a lot of what you call that? Metals and lead into the fish, which is toxic to the human body. These devils have greatly destroyed the earth, man. By the way of, when you look out On the Hudson River is greatly polluted. You have plastic floating because what the sanitation does, they dump the trash into the ocean. And that's how they get rid of the trash. That's how they get rid of the plastic, the aluminum, and all the trash, man. Plastic do not decompose. So they get rid of the plastic by dumping it in the ocean. You got miles of garbage in the ocean, man, that's floating. This devil has destroyed the earth, man. The ecosystem is all fucked up. I'm not gonna rant. I'm gonna get into some scriptures. I'm about to say you I about to be edified. And we're gonna get into it. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18, and it reads, and the nations are pursuant to Jeremiah 50:9, that the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to rise up, to come against Babylon, an assembly of great nations, starting with Russia, China, Pakistan, India, North Korea, Great Britain, France, Germany, that assembly of great nations that have nuclear capabilities, man. So it reads, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come. Thy wrath is them nuclear missiles that's gonna come when speaking about in Jeremiah 50:9, when that assembly of great nations come up against America. And the time of the dead, Slakia, I'm gonna read it again. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, which is the other nations, that they should be judged. Because guess what? Not only is America gonna be judged, but these other nations are gonna be judged too. Because they had their hand in afflicting the sons of Israel. And that's why the Most High is gathering all nations together to the valley of Jehoshaphat, man, which is Yahweh, which is the Lord's decision, man. All these nations are going to taste of that fire, man. So it reads, and the nations were angry because you have this democracy that America is pushing throughout the four corners of the earth, man. This democracy that America is pushing throughout the four corners of the earth is madness, man. And that democracy leads to women's lib, transgenders, homosexuality, women usurping authority over the men. That's what you have going on with democracy, man. Also, when you take on the form of democracy, you have to bend to the rules of America, man. There you have it. There you have it, man. So it reads, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets. What's that reward? Being beamed up, being taken out of this hellhole that we're in. Because when you go to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the first verse, Yahweh is gonna crack them skies, bringing death, destruction, and deliverance, man. So the reward of the righteous is being delivered, man. Salakia. So it reads, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name. small and great. The 144,000, the elect, the 1/3, man. Because when Yahushua cracked them skies, he's going to bring death, destruction, and deliverance. Death and destruction to Esau and the rest of the nations, and the 2/3 of you niggas that follow behind Esau, but he's going to bring deliverance to his elect, man, which is the 144,000 and the 1/3, man. It says, and should destroy them which destroyeth the earth. Now you got Esau. He's in charge. He is the. It says and destroys him. It says and destroys them which destroyeth the earth. Is not Esau, pursuant to Job 9:24, in control of the whole earth? Is not Esau? Hey, Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. Esau controls this whole setup, man. This devil, this red bastard is in charge, man. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked, pursuant to Malachi, the 1st chapter, the 4th verse, man. You can't get around it, man. This devil is in charge, man. And he has destroyed the earth, man, with a perpetual destruction going back to the late 1300s up until now, man. He has destroyed the earth, man. This devil is in charge, man. And this devil is doing a good job of destroying the earth, man. And the inhabitants thereof by the way of pestilence. I'm not going to get into that because that's another subject. But this devil is destroying the earth by the way of chemtrails, polluting the water through fluorization, you know what I'm saying? Slack here. Slip of the tongue. By putting fluoride in the water, chemtrails in the air, GMO foods. This devil is controlling, it's destroying the earth, man. Who else is doing that, man? This devil, man. Polluting the water, the air, the food. That's why it says in Revelation chapter 11 verse 18, and it reads, it says, and should destroys them which destroyeth the earth. Esau is not Esau this fucking devil destroying the earth through his chemtrails, fluoride in the water, GMO foods, war on top of war. That's what this devil is doing, man. We can't get around that, man. This devil is destroying the earth, man. Destroying the earth perpetually, man. Continually. Revelation chapter 19, verse 19, and it reads, and I saw the beast, which is America, which is the reincarnation of the Roman Empire, and the kings of the earth, which is the EU, which is joined unto America, which is the European Union, NATO. It says, and I saw the beast, which is America, and the kings of the earth, which I read, which is NATO and the EU, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse. Now, he who sat on the horse was Yahweh Shai, and the horse represents great power. And that's some chariots, man. Going into 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the 1st verse on down, man, explains that in great detail. 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the 1st verse on down, explains that in great detail. So it behooves you, brothers, that's new in this faith, in this stand of ours, to get into that. Because it breaks it down perfectly, man. It says, back in Revelation chapter 19, verse 19, and it reads, "And I saw the beast, which is America, and the kings of the earth, representing the NATO and the European Union, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his armies." Yahweh shall crack at them skies with them millions of angels, man. Going into 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, the first verse on down, man. Verse 20. "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet," which is going into the Vatican, the Catholic religion that you so-called, mainly the Latin tribes, they cling onto that Catholic bullshit faith, man. But the false prophets is going into the Vatican, man. It says, so it reads, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast." Going to this system. The mark of the beast is a system, man. The Alpha D microchip, man. The Charagma. And what's setting the stage for that is this stab and jab, man. I don't want to say too much because I don't want them to flag this video and take it down, man. I want the Akim to be edified. But when you go into Revelation, and it reads, it says, and you know what? Let me see. I'm gonna read from Revelation 19 and verse 19. "And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth," pursuant to Jeremiah 15:9, that assembly of great nations, "and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat upon the throne, sat upon the horse, and against his armies." Pursuant to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha 13:1. And it reads, verse 20, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles." Hey, the precept to go along with that, Isaiah 63:1 and 6. Isaiah 63:1 verse 6. Joel chapter 3:9-14, man, goes into details of what's going to happen. These are precepts, man, that could back these scriptures that I'm bringing out, that could back this up, man. The precepts to back this up is Isaiah 63:1-6, Joel 3:9-14. You know what I'm saying? This devil is about to be snatched out of his rulership. And this morning, when I was coming out of my house, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, I saw a chariot. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. And it was moving. So I knew it was a chariot. And it was too high to be one of Esau's planes. And I saw it. Right after I was doing my prayers, I left my house. I looked up in the sky like I always do every morning, and I saw a chariot, which is our deliverance, which are the holy angels. Beautiful thing, man. Beautiful sight. When I saw that, I gave all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man. So here you have it. These devils, they about to be taken out of their rulership. Revelation chapter 19, verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles before him, with which he devoured them that had received the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is that charagma. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want this video taken down. But those that's been keeping up with these scriptures, that's a part of the elect, they know who the mark of the beast is. They know what the mark of the beast is, man. It says back in Revelation chapter 19, verse 20, and the beast, which is America, was taken with him, and with him the false prophet, going into the three-city state. You have America, which is a part of the three-city state, which is the military faction of that. Then you got the religious sector of that. They're going to be burnt with fire. And the beast was taken with him, the false prophet that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. The simple-minded niggas, Hispanics, Native Americans that take that mark of the beast, man, and the rest of the nations, man, they're going to be destroyed. And them that worship his image, which worship the system that agree with everything that Esau brought forth. That's how you worship the system. They have holy days, which is satanic days. Taking they, just going along, and it says, and I'm read verse 20 again, Slakia. Lost my train of thought. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, that received the charagma, that went along with everything that the beast pushed out there. Here it is. You got people in America that's going along to get along. So they able to move about. But hey, what about having trust and faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah? So it reads, it says, Revelation chapter 19, verse 20, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets, going into the Vatican, that Catholic religion, and also these niggas out here that's a part of this thing of ours that's pushing the doctrine contrary to what Great Millstone was pushing, man. You're a part of this system. You're taking that back, man. But it's mainly talking about the Vatican, man, and the false prophets, man, that's being pushed, the three-city state, man. You got America, which is the military faction. You got the Vatican, which is the religious faction. And then you got the financial district, which is London. And they all going to be destroyed. It says, Revelation chapter 19, verse 20, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, the taking out of the microchip, the charagma, and them that worship his image, going back to the Roman Empire, worshiping the image of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire is, because America is the second leg of the Roman Empire, man. All of the laws, the whole system of the ancient Roman Empire, America have adapted their laws, and they have taken on that law. So therefore, you worshiping the beast, man, which was the fourth beast of the dream that Daniel had received, man. And the fourth beast is the Roman Empire. So read, which have deceived them that have received the mark of the beast, and them that have worshipped his image, these both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. That lake of fire is them thermonuclear missiles, man. That concentrated fire from them chariots, man. You can't get around that. You people have not a clue what's coming down the pipe, man. Because the Most High blinds you, man. You have been blinded by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. And the only remedy is death and destruction. So with that, I'm going to close it out. Abba Watazayu Akim out there was edified, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakak, Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, and salutation you Akim out there that push this world in the truth and in sincerity. Shalom.